Welcome back, everybody. I am really excited today. I'm really excited. I'm really excited. So for probably, I don't know, maybe 6, 7, 8 years, I have been a student of this man that I'm staring up at right now because I've got a strange setup here via YouTube. YouTube has been our connector. And I have felt a great, great, great gratitude and appreciation and a tremendous level of support and serenity from the one and only Brad Yates, who, in my opinion, is one of the greatest tapping teachers and guides. And he has just generously offered countless, hundreds and hundreds of tapping meditations on YouTube. Yeah.
A little over 900 at this point.
Over 900 tapping videos, EFT tapping videos on YouTube for people who may have not realized they needed it and found their way to it because of your commitment. What I'd love to just open with is a little bit about you, why tapping found you, and what it has gifted you.
Yeah, how a grown man finds himself tapping on his face for a living.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is really hard right now. The first thing they said is, don't touch your face. It's like, that's what I do for a living.
But I actually want to talk about that. I have a question about that, but go on.
So I actually started out as an actor, and I had gotten a degree in drama, traveled the world doing theater, came to Hollywood to be a movie star, and along the way met a woman, fell in love, got married, and as we were starting our family, I decided I should probably have a backup job. And so rather than getting a sort of a steady paycheck kind of job, I trained to become a hypnotherapist because I'd always been fascinated with the power of the mind. And started doing that, fell in love with it. And after a couple of years, when our second child was on the way, I thought, as much as I loved acting, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Personal development work was really my calling. So we left LA, moved up to Northern California, and through some other hypnotherapists, I heard about energy psychology and tapping. And it was actually almost 20 year to the day, 20 years in the next couple of weeks, that I went to this conference in Las Vegas and took a training with Gary Craig, the founder of EFT,
Right.
and just fell in love with it, especially when we did tapping on chocolate cravings. And I was chocoholic and I lost my cravings and didn't eat chocolate for 2 years.
Yep.
So that was, and so then little by little, my hypnotherapy sessions became tapping sessions. YouTube came along and I thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool if there was a tapping video people could start their day with, and I'll call it Tap of the Morning. And that was all I ever intended to do, was that one video. And then 6 months later, I had another idea. And then a few months later, another idea. And then they kept coming. And a decade later, I've got a whole bunch of them.
Over 900.
Yeah.
So excellent. So I'm actually currently studying hypnosis. And one of the techniques that was one of the first that my therapist offered was tapping. So obviously I was quite familiar.
Yeah.
For anyone most of the people watching are familiar with EFT because I've shared it in this membership before. But if someone's new to the membership for any reason at this stage, can you, in your own words, describe what EFT is, what it means to you?
And didn't they read it in this?
They've tapped with me many times, these people, but you never know. Some people enter my world because a book fell off the shelf and they didn't read it, and then they became a member and now they're here and this is the first experience. Who knows?
Suddenly Gabby's talking about tapping on your face.
Exactly. Who knows what the hell she's talking about today? So what is it?
So on the off chance that someone's watching this and has not heard of EFT or tapping, it's based on acupuncture. So for thousands of years in Chinese medicine, they've said there's a flow of energy through the body along these pathways called meridians. And when this energy is flowing naturally, we experience our natural state of health and well-being and emotionally. And when this energy gets stuck, then we don't feel so good. And when we don't feel so good, we don't think as clearly, we don't make the best choices, things go downhill from there. So instead of using needles like a traditional acupuncturist, we just tap with our fingertips. And if you're going to be doing it, means please have hand sanitizer, wash your hands before tapping your face. Otherwise, just use your collarbone point or other non-facial points in these strange days that we have to talk about. But yeah, so we're stimulating these points with tapping to get that healthy flow of energy going. And although it's based on ancient practices, of modern scientific research showing that it does dramatically lower stress. We have fMRI studies, we have chemical studies, double-blind studies, validating the fact that we are calming down the stress response. And when we can calm that down, we can start to look at things that we've been afraid of and create amazing changes in our lives.
And let's just talk for a second about why we're afraid. So what I perceive to be from my experience of studying you and Gary Craig is that there's behind a phobia or an addiction or a habitual pattern that's holding us back, there's an energetic disturbance. So can you talk a little bit about how tapping helps restore us back to a place of center when we have had an energetic disturbance that may have been the driving force of our life?
Absolutely. So many of these things happen so early in childhood. And some experience happens, we have an emotional response to it, and part of us locks into that energetically, emotionally, mentally, and so that we then have a stress response when we think about that. And perhaps in our very young, very immature minds, we also come up with, how do I survive this? Something that we do that we learn, okay, this makes me feel better, like chocolate. Early on, we are taught chocolate makes us feel better. So years later, we have a bad conversation with our boss, or we, bump a car in the parking lot or something, and we feel upset about it. And we're thinking, how do I feel better? Chocolate, of course. So we get these patterns. And when we try, the human mind doesn't like change. So when we try to make a change, when we try to say, hey, I got an idea, here's a healthier way of dealing with stress, the mind goes, no, 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 no. And we shut down. So this part of our brain, the amygdala, that is looking for threats, very helpful back, 100,000 years ago, when we had actually life-threatening situations, and it would shut down the prefrontal cortex where our rational thinking is, and get us, our heart pumping, blood pumping, so that we can fight or flee. And now it still responds in the same way if someone looks at us cross-eyed.
Correct.
And part of us shuts down, and it's very difficult to think clearly. So what the tapping is doing, so that's the sympathetic nervous system when we respond to a threat and we go into fight or flight. We also have the parasympathetic nervous system when part of us says, oh, hey, you know what? It's all cool. We can calm down. And cortisol starts to go down, and the prefrontal cortex comes back online, and we can think clearly again. So what seems to be happening is the tapping is expediting the parasympathetic nervous system. So when we're thinking about something stressful, like when we're trying to change a habit, and we say, okay, I'm going to find something healthier than chocolate. And part of it starts to go into a stress response of, what do you mean we're not going to have chocolate? And we can tap and calm down and go, okay, what do I really need right now? What is really going to be helpful in this moment?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then, I love also this element when I was taught tapping, this element of the tabletop. So there's, and you can correct me if I'm in any way saying these things wrong, because you're really the expert here, but I feel confident in my own practice. So that's when I feel confident to share it, right? Because tapping's been a big part of my trauma healing and recovery, my addiction recovery. It's really served me particularly right now. So there's a tabletop, right? There's this issue, there's this underlying, maybe it's not necessarily that we even know what the energetic disturbance is, but we know that we can't sleep, or we know that we have TMJ, or we know that we are addicted. So we don't even know what the energetic disturbance is. So we're tapping on the phobia, the addiction, the insomnia, whatever the issue is. But we start to unravel these different aspects of the issue. And it's like the tabletop. So as you tap on these different aspects, you can kick out one leg and you can kick out the other leg. And then the table can collapse.
Yeah.
And the collapsing of that table, that's when, I want to really reiterate this too, is that if people, sometimes when we tap, and I really want to get to the tapping, but sometimes when we tap, things can be activated in us. And so we can trust that whatever is being activated is coming up because our nervous system is safe enough to experience that at this time. But also that we can work through very deep-rooted pain and suffering and trauma without having to really relive it.
Yes, it's a very safe, gentle process because in so many in talk therapy, when you just start talking about a traumatic event from the past, those emotions come up because the mind can't tell the difference between reality and imagination. So we can, a lot of times people re-trigger themselves and get stuck in a traumatic pattern. But with the tapping, we're breaking that down. We're able to, it creates a safe space to look at that. Now, that being said, when we get into the tapping, I always say it's, and especially when I'm doing things like this, it's, and I don't know who all might be tapping. I tend to do it in a more general way, but I never know what's going on for anyone. So it's like if you're, the analogy is if you're going to clean your room up because you have company coming over, and you say, okay, on a scale of 0 to 10, how clean is my room? Oh, it's about a 7 or 8, but I really like these people, so I want it to be a 10. And you start cleaning up, and you, while doing so, you notice there's dirty laundry that was under the sofa, and there's dirt that was swept under the rug, and now you're like, oh no, my room is only like a 2 in terms of how clean it is. And you wouldn't say, well, I shouldn't have cleaned up. Obviously, cleaning my room makes the room dirtier. You're just more aware of it. And the same with the tapping. There are times where stuff comes up because we're looking at it. We're going through. We may find stuff that we weren't aware of. But it's great that we find it because now we can clean it out. Now our room really is as clean as we were hoping. But it is uncomfortable when we first noticed that dirty laundry there.
Yeah.
So the process of tapping, we're cleaning that out. But I always say, if you know that you're sitting on some really heavy stuff, like, there's not just dirt under that rug, there's like barrels of toxic waste, then I will say, you might want to wait until you've got someone there for emotional support. You might want to go and actually work with a practitioner, someone who can actually respond to the stuff that's coming up.
Right.
To
I
knowledge,
think
I've
that's,
never had that come up, though, in any interview that I've done where someone said, oh, it totally triggered something.
yeah, I think that we will do the tapping that we'll do, and we're going to jump into it because I want it. I need it. I'm selfish. uh,
My
we'll-
favorite thing to do.
right, exactly. We'll be general enough that hopefully it won't be activating. But sometimes and we're going to scale from a 0 to a 10, 10 being the highest. But if you do end up going up, what is your response to that? If somebody goes from like a 5 to a 10, what is your response to that?
Yeah, and again, that's a matter of you're going in and looking, and suddenly you've just found that dirty laundry under the sofa that
Yeah.
you have forgotten. It was already there. That's the thing, is that we are really good at fooling ourselves about what's going on. This is why I recommend tapping on a daily basis, because it's a way of doing energetic hygiene. We have our physical hygiene. We brush our teeth, we take showers. We just do it as maintenance. We don't wait until people around us are holding their nose and then say, I haven't taken a shower in a week. Oh, there's green stuff between my teeth. Maybe I should brush my teeth now. But most of us don't have any kind of hygiene for our stress. And there's always this ambient stress that's there. And then when it gets triggered, something more upsetting happens, then suddenly we're really aware of it and thinking like, no, I was totally cool, totally chill all this time until this thing happened. It's like, no, that stuff was already there. So we're just more aware of that stuff then. And again, I think that's a great thing in that now we can clean that out and not have that stuff sitting there. It's great to find that dirty laundry and clean it out. But but keep tapping and just
Keep
allow
tapping.
it to clear.
Because the thing is that we may think that because we haven't cleaned up looked for the dirty laundry, that it's okay. We can just avoid it. We can sweep over it. We can throw things over it, whatever it may be, like drink over it or have sex over it or overwork over it or whatever it may be. But what we don't really accept and recognize is that dirty laundry has been the driving force of our life.
Yeah,
Exactly. The never
so many choices that we've made in life, so many missed opportunities, and we don't even know. And something simple that might have happened, when you're a couple years old, and a misunderstanding, you know, uh, mom's having a bad day and you walk in at the wrong moment, and she turns around and said, "Why are you such a trouble for me?" And we go, "Oh, mom doesn't love me," or whatever it might be, or "I'm not worthy of love." Total misunderstanding, but we don't know any better. And that stuff, yeah, is a driving force. And we could go back and look, we can look at all of the mistakes that we've made, all of the terrible things that we've done. But if we could open our brain and look at all of the neural pathways and all of the events, we'd say, "Oh yeah, I totally get why I did that
right.
thing."
Of course. So yeah, let's actually start there with just really taking a moment to say that whoever's landed here, I always believe that an angel guided them, that there's no accident that they are watching us now. So if stuff comes up, we got your back. Keep tapping. Come back to the video, keep tapping. And maybe we'll give you some beautiful relief techniques as well, like the gamut point or things that people can return to. We'll close with that. So but the message really is that there's no accident. You wouldn't be here right now if you weren't ready for what you're being presented. I really believe that. So Brad, I would like to tap on maybe one or two different topics, depending on how far into this we go.
Hmm.
Uh, one that you suggest and one that I think we all need. Would you like to suggest first? Might be the same.
Yeah. Well, at this point in time, anxiety just in general
It's the
is
same, Brad. We've chosen the same one.
I can't imagine why at this point in time.
Wonder why? Why would we need to tap on anxiety? And by the way, this video may come out right now. We're recording this in April. It might come out in June, or you may be seeing it in a year from now, or you may be seeing it in 2022.
20 years. Yeah.
And likely you're still going to need it because what we're going through right now in April of 2020, which is where we are. So maybe you'll be watching Brad and I, and we won't even be alive anymore someday when you're watching this. Hopefully many hundred,
Many years from now.
many years away. Or when we're very elderly. So, but at the moment, I think wherever right now we are at a turning point in our in humanity. This is an energetic disruption that's happening globally. There will be, I hate to say it, but there'll be a lot of PTSD for many years from this experience. So if we can build a tapping practice on really helping ourselves regulate our anxiety and get back into the parasympathetic nervous system and use this tool now and forever, not only will we change the course of our own lives, but I think that we'll be bringing a better contribution to the world.
Absolutely. Everything is energy. We're all connected. The healing that we do, the tapping that each of you do individually benefits the collective whole.
Yep.
So as you can relax, because we pick up on each other's energy. If you're walking around and you're clearing out your anxiety and allowing yourself to feel peace, that's going to benefit the people around you.
Exactly.
So
Now, what if somebody's like, and I really promise we're going to start tapping soon. This is like my really selfish moment because one of my teachers is with me here. I just want to ask you everything, but I guess we can still be friends forever, so it doesn't matter. But my big question is also like, what if somebody's sitting around saying, okay, I've done all this personal growth work. It's June or whenever we decide to deliver this video. I'm not feeling anxious in this moment. I don't want to tap on anxiety. What's your response to that?
yeah. So here's the great thing is you won't take on a problem. And when folks first hear EFT and we start off with, even though I'm so anxious, and they go, you can't talk about the negative. We should always be talking about the positive. But the thing is, what you resist persists. If you break your leg, you don't go to the doctor and say, hey, let's talk about my arm. My arm feels so good. Let's focus on that. We have to deal with what's going on. However, if you are tapping along, because there's always ambient stress, we just, as human beings, are doing that. Any tapping that we're doing help us get better. even if we're not experiencing what's going on. Because believe me, I have tapped with many, many people on issues that I don't have, and I have not taken on those issues. So if you have if your countertop in your kitchen, if you spill coffee on it and you are wiping it up and you're saying orange juice, it's not like now you have coffee and orange juice on your counter. Likewise, if your countertop is already clean and you're wiping it and saying coffee, coffee, it's not like, oh, now I have coffee on my countertop. If it's clean, it's just going to get cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter what we're talking, you're not going to take it on. If something triggers, if you say, oh, now I'm feeling some anxiety, now that you mentioned it, no, you're just now aware of anxiety that you weren't aware of.
Correct. It was always there. Correct.
Yeah. Tapping won't create a problem that's there. It's just finding things and bringing them up and then clearing them out. And if you're totally chill, if you're feeling great, you'll be like, okay, yeah, I'm not feeling anxiety, but I think I do feel a little bit better. And you may have insights into things that you hadn't been open to before. That's the great thing about it, is when we're tapping, we're peeling layers of the onion, and we might get ideas that we might not otherwise have come up with about ways to improve our lives, ways to improve other people's lives, even though the presenting problem that we're tapping on wasn't something you were feeling.
Yeah. And you'll borrow the benefits.
Absolutely.
So even if anxiety isn't your thing in this moment, which I pray for you, it's not, then you'll borrow the benefits of the tapping because something else will be revealed. And the clearing is what we need.
And yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So for anyone unfamiliar, borrowing benefits is this phenomenon where you can be tapping with other people and getting benefits, even though the issue isn't yours. And because of, again, the energetic connection, you might not be clearing up your own anxiety because there's none there, but you might be clearing up anxiety for a loved one, and you can even be focused on that and thinking, okay, I'm not sure that anxiety is what I'm experiencing, but boy, my mom sure is having a lot of it.
Right.
So
Right.
have that in mind.
All right. So I think we'll throw everybody in.
Yeah.
Let's throw everybody in, and
Yeah.
let's tap on anxiety. You take the lead. I'm taking it in.
Yeah. So when I ask everyone first to go ahead and close your eyes, take a deep breath in and hold it, and let it go. And now just following your breath through your body, just allowing yourself to be present right now. Just go ahead and check your body and notice where you might be feeling some anxiety or stress, tension, fear, any emotional or physical discomfort. And if you just notice some physical discomfort you might have been holding on to, even though you might not call it anxiety, just allow yourself to be aware of what's there so that when we talk about anxiety, you can be thinking about this tension in my neck or whatever. Just allowing yourself to be aware of what does not feel like peace, what does not feel like love. Notice on a scale of 0 to 10 how strong it might be. And as much as possible, do so without judgment, just acknowledging what's there. It's not wrong or bad, it's just there. Notice what thoughts, beliefs, or memories might contribute to whatever that discomfort is. Take another deep breath. Open your eyes. As I say in all my videos, please take full responsibility for your own well-being. So I'll be tapping these points, just tap where I tap, repeat back what I say. And so Gabby, if you'll be my echo voice, and then everyone just repeat back what I say along with Gabby. Even though I feel this anxiety,
Even though I feel this anxiety,
I choose to love and accept myself anyway.
I choose to love and accept myself anyway.
Even though I feel this anxiety,
Even though I feel this anxiety,
I choose to love and honor myself anyway.
I choose to love and honor myself anyway.
Even though I feel this anxiety,
Even though I feel this anxiety,
this emotional discomfort,
this emotional discomfort.
I might call it different things,
I might call it different things,
but it sure doesn't feel good.
but it sure doesn't feel good.
And I'd rather feel good.
I'd much rather feel good.
And even though I feel this anxiety,
Even though I feel this anxiety,
I choose to deeply and completely
I choose to deeply and completely
love, honor, and accept myself.
love, honor, and accept myself.
And maybe anyone else involved.
and maybe anyone else involved.
All this anxiety,
All this anxiety,
all this anxiety,
all this anxiety,
all this fear,
all this fear,
all this stress,
all this stress,
all this
all this you cut out, but I'm saying it anyway.
all this emotional discomfort,
All this emotional discomfort,
all this stuff that's going on
all this stuff that's going on
that just does not feel good.
that just does not feel good.
And I'd rather feel good.
I'd rather feel good.
But part of me is saying,
Part of me is saying,
are you not aware of what is going on?
are you not aware of what is going on?
How possibly feel good?
I didn't catch that one, but
How can you possibly feel good?
how can you possibly feel good?
Part of me is saying,
Part of me is saying,
I should be anxious.
I should be anxious.
Part of me is certain
Part of me is certain
that anxiety
that anxiety
is the only appropriate response right now
is the only appropriate response right now
to what's going on.
to what's going on.
No matter when I'm watching this,
No matter when I'm watching this,
there's probably something I can be anxious about.
there's probably something I can be anxious about,
Something that's going on in the world,
something that's going on in the world,
or something that's just going on in my own life.
something that's just going on in my own life.
And I choose to love and appreciate that part of me
And I choose to love and appreciate that part of me
that tells me I should be anxious.
that tells me I should be anxious.
And I'm not entirely sure
And I'm not entirely sure
how the anxiety is going to fix the problem.
how the anxiety is going to fix the problem.
If it's an issue with some other people,
If it's an issue with some other people,
are they going to change because I'm anxious?
are they going to change because I'm anxious?
Not sure what I'll fix with the anxiety.
I'm not sure what I'll fix with the anxiety.
But from my past programming,
But from my past programming,
that's how I've learned to respond.
that's how I've learned to respond.
And I love and appreciate myself
And I love and appreciate myself
for trying to protect myself.
for trying to protect myself.
And part of me might say,
And part of me might say,
there are things I need to do.
there are things I need to do.
And if I wasn't feeling anxious,
And if I wasn't feeling anxious,
I probably wouldn't do them.
I probably wouldn't do them.
I wouldn't take action to take care of myself
I wouldn't take action to take care of myself
unless I was afraid.
unless I was afraid.
And I choose to let go of that nonsense
I choose to let go of that nonsense
because there are plenty of things I do every day
because there's plenty of things I do every day
to keep myself safe and well
to keep myself safe and well
without having to have a fear response.
without having to have a fear response.
When I'm cooking in the kitchen,
When I'm cooking in the kitchen,
I don't need to feel anxiety
I don't need to feel anxiety.
to make sure I don't put my hand on the burner.
Make sure I don't put my hand on the burner.
I can just make good decisions
I can just make good decisions
while still feeling peace.
while still feeling peace.
So I love and appreciate those parts of me
I love and appreciate those parts of me
that felt I needed to feel anxiety.
that felt I needed to feel anxiety.
And I'm giving myself permission
And I'm giving myself permission
to see that I can feel peace
to see that I can feel peace
with whatever's going on.
with whatever's going on.
There are things that I can do
There are things that I can do
to try to make things better.
to try to make things better.
And one of the best ways to do that
One of the best ways to do that,
is to let go of the stress
let go of the stress
and think more clearly.
and think more clearly.
And I can still make good choices.
I can still make good choices.
It's safe to feel peace.
It's safe to feel peace.
It's safe to relax.
It's safe to relax.
It's okay to relax.
Okay to relax.
I'm allowing myself to feel peace
I'm allowing myself to feel peace
in body, mind, and spirit.
in body, mind, and spirit.
And take a deep breath. With your eyes closed, just go ahead and check in again and notice wherever you had been feeling discomfort before and rate that on a scale of 0 to 10 again. And hopefully that number has come down. Just allow yourself to be aware of whatever thoughts might have come up, maybe some other things you've become more aware of, some dirty laundry that was under the sofa and realized, oh, and hopefully cleared that out, or just become more aware of it and you can go and do some more specific tapping on that.
I went from an 8 to a 4, I think.
Nicely done.
One of the things that was an aspect I wasn't really thinking was my aspect, but was this idea of it's okay to feel good.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's one that I've been doing a number of like YouTube and Facebook lives during this time and bringing that up because there's a lot of feelings about why would, so the one that I addressed in there, folks, you can go ahead and keep tapping even while you're watching this. One of the reasons we might be afraid to feel good is if I don't feel panicked, then I'm just going to go outside and meet people and start touching things and touching my face and putting myself in harm's way. It's like, no, when you cross the street, you look both ways. You don't have to get yourself, in a lather about being afraid of getting hit before you look both ways. So we don't need that. And the other one is, how can I feel good when so many people are going through so much hardship right now?
That's right.
And I'll invite folks to go ahead and just keep tapping rather than doing a formal round, but just be tapping while I talk about this. You can't feel bad enough to make anyone feel better. You cannot be sick enough to make anyone healthier. And we may have this idea of, oh, how could I possibly feel peace or feel good when people are suffering? Well, if that was the case, then you could never feel joy at any moment in your life, because at some point, somewhere in the world, at any given moment, someone is experiencing some kind of pain, whether it's war in some country or just somebody stubbed their toe. There's somebody who's not having a good day right now. And if it was truly a universal rule that you're obligated to feel bad if anyone else on the planet is feeling bad, you could never have experienced joy. And since it's a human thing to be able to experience joy, it must therefore be okay. So it's not that we're taking delight in other people's suffering, hopefully, and if you are, please tap on that. Whole other issue there. But allowing yourself to say, okay, I'm not obligated to deprive myself of peace and joy when they're suffering. And again, because we are all connected, I don't want to contribute to even more upset, more pain, more anxiety. The best thing that you can do for people a lot of times is to feel as good as possible, because then you're sending that energy, you're sending peace and love. And how can I send peace and love if I'm so insistent on holding on to all this other stuff as well? But if I can let go of what doesn't feel like love, then love is all I have to share. So I can look at where people are suffering and just go, okay, I am sending you so much peace and so much love, and I'm clearing out anything else so I don't send any of that other stuff.
The affirmation, my positive energy is my greatest contribution, is what keeps coming in through me right now.
Awesome.
My
I
positive
love that.
energy is my greatest. Now, is there value in tapping with a positive affirmation? Of course, tapping with positive aspects, but just saying the affirmation and tapping.
It's one of my favorite things to do. It's somehow just how I start my morning is tapping positive affirmations. Thank you for the blessings I have. Thank you for the blessings I'm receiving. Thank you for making me an instrument of peace. Thank you for making me a channel of love. My positive energy is the greatest blessing I can send. Things like that. Because again, we're always cleaning. So, going back to the analogy of cleaning your counter, if you have coffee spilled on your kitchen counter, you can be wiping it up and saying, my counter is so clean. I love sparkling cleanliness. You're still going to be cleaning up the coffee, even though you're talking about positive things.
Yeah.
With EFT, we often focus on the negative just so that we're very clear, because if we walk into the kitchen and just talk about everything sparkling and clean, we might not notice the coffee there. So it's best if we focus specifically on what the issue is. But if we're not focusing on something particular like that, we can certainly be talking about saying affirmations. And the thing is that when we're saying an affirmation, if there's a part of us that energetically is not in alignment with that, that's great, because saying the affirmation is going to bring that up to be cleared.
Yes.
If you say, I'm one of my favorite phrases, I'm a magnificent child of God, or a magnificent child of the universe, if
Love it.
people have trouble with the G word. And so any part of me that might say, no, I'm not, it's like, good, I'm going to tap that away. I'm going to clear that until I'm like, yes, of course I am.
What a nice practice. So you tap on what you want to affirm, and if you notice that there's a disturbance, then you tap that away.
Yeah. Yeah, it's because any argument against that is going to come up energetically, and we start to clear it. And my belief is that underneath all of it, we are this unique expression of divine light and love. So, we won't clear if we say something positive. We're not going to be clearing that. When you're wiping your countertop, you don't clear away the cleanliness. You just get cleaner and cleaner, and you get back to the natural, clean countertop that's underneath all that stuff. Same with us, our most magnificent self. That's why I was talking about with Michelangelo, tapping away, clearing away what doesn't belong to reveal the masterpiece inside. So whether we're saying positive or negative things, as we're tapping, we're clearing away that stuff and just becoming more and more aware of, yes, I am awesome. I do have this awesome love to share. And I'm releasing whatever isn't there so that I can just shine as brightly as possible, because that's what the world needs. That's what's really going to benefit everyone else.
This is gorgeous. Let's close with tapping on that positive affirmation. My positive energy is my greatest contribution to the world.
Yeah. I'll do it the way I phrase, because when I do a positive round, I'll do it like this.
So karate chop.
I choose to know
I choose to know
that my positive energy
that my positive energy
is my greatest contribution to the world.
is my greatest contribution to the world.
And I choose to really love and accept myself.
And I choose to really love and accept myself.
I choose to know
I choose to know
that my positive energy
that my positive energy
is my greatest contribution to the world.
is my greatest contribution to the world.
And I choose to love and honor myself.
And I choose to love and honor myself.
I choose to really know
I choose to really know
that my positive energy
that my positive energy
is my greatest contribution to the world.
is my greatest contribution to the world.
I choose to love, accept, and honor myself.
And I choose to love, accept, and honor myself.
My positive energy
My positive energy
is my greatest contribution to the world.
my greatest contribution to the world.
And I choose to feel really good about that.
I choose to feel really good about that.
Because there are times
Because there are times
where part of my mind says,
part of my mind says,
I shouldn't feel positive.
I shouldn't feel positive.
That's so wrong.
That's so wrong.
I should feel bad.
I should feel bad.
I'm not sure who that's going to help.
I'm not sure who that's going to help.
If someone else is suffering,
If someone else is suffering,
I can't make them feel better by suffering.
I can't make them feel better by suffering.
As I clear my own discomfort
As I clear my own discomfort
and allow myself to have more peace
and allow myself to have more peace,
and more love,
more love,
that's what I have to share.
that's what I have to share.
That's what people really need.
That's what people really need.
I'm doing them a favor
I'm doing them a favor
because my positive
because my positive energy
really is my greatest contribution to the world.
really is my greatest contribution to the world.
So when I see other people suffering,
So when I see other people suffering,
I choose to send them a really valuable gift,
I choose to send them a really valuable gift,
sending them love,
sending them love,
sending them peace,
sending them peace,
allowing myself to know
allowing myself to know
that my positive energy
that my positive energy
really is my greatest contribution to the world.
really is my greatest contribution to the world.
So I'm releasing what isn't love.
So I'm releasing what isn't love.
I'm releasing what isn't peace.
I'm releasing what isn't peace.
So that's all I've got left to send.
So that's all I've got left to send.
And I'm worthy and deserving of that.
And I'm worthy and deserving of that.
So I'm allowing myself to feel peace
So I'm allowing myself to feel peace
in body, mind, and spirit.
in body, mind, and spirit.
And take a deep breath. Yeah, let go of the belief that the only way I can show that I care is by suffering. No. When they said, what's the expression? Sharing is caring. So please have positive energy to share.
That's right.
That's the best way you can show that you care about people.
Yeah, and that it's good to feel good, and you feeling good right now, and you having the tools that you all have that are listening and watching, that you all have these tools so that you can self-regulate. And that is the greatest contribution, because we want to create a movement of collective calm.
Yeah. And then you can inspire others to, if you're feeling more peace and they can see, oh, it's okay to feel peace. Yes, it's a good thing. And you spread that,
And
and
you bring
the
that
world gets
peace
better and better.
where, into your kitchen at night and into your bedroom when you fall asleep with your partner or your friend, or, or if you're on your own right now, you bring that peace with you on your FaceTime calls, and it's a ripple effect. Brad, you're the best.
No, you're the
No,
best.
you, Brad.
No, you.
Anything that you want to leave us with that you want us to know about?
Just please use this, preferably on a daily basis. Please share it with other people. I just created a new video where I'm just telling people, just tap on your chest. If anyone out there is saying, I don't want to tap, it looks weird. It's like, okay, this doesn't look as weird. So if you can just do this. And, but the main thing is, clear away what stops you from loving yourself and treating yourself with more care, because you taking care of you is so important, and you loving you is so important, and that is a benefit to everyone else. So thank you so much for being willing to participate in this, and doing the tapping and getting better and better and making the world a better place. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. If anybody wants more from Brad, the best place is YouTube. You've got everything there. And your website is Brad,
Tapwithbrad.com.
tapwithbrad.com. I really thank you for your contribution. It's almost like you were preparing us for this time. And I'm grateful that there are 900 or more archives of your videos on YouTube that we can use to support people. And in this month's membership, I probably will compile some of my favorites. And there's a handful that I used when I remembered my childhood trauma when I was in 2016. And you were a savior to me at that time. And so I'm going to share some of the meditations that impacted me most when I was in my one of my greatest sufferings. So,
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity, Gabby. I really appreciate it. I thank you so much for who you are, and the light that you are in the world and the difference you make. I've certainly gotten a lot from your work as well, and greatly appreciate that. So, and just really thank you for this time together and this opportunity to share this work with folks.
it's just the beginning, my friend. Many more.
Cool.
All right, everybody, keep tapping.